Hello everyone and welcome to another movie review on Max Schroeder Productions, here with another movie review on a movie that was recently released and I have seen, and that is The Lion King. It was released on July 19th by 2019, excuse me, and it's directed by Jon Favreau, who also done The Jungle Book, if all you aren't familiar with that one. And this film was released by Buena Vista, aka Disney. And this film stars Donald Glover as Simba, Beyonce as Nala, Pumbaa as Seth Rogen, Timon as Billy Eichner, Scar as Chiwetel Ejiofor, Zazu as John Oliver, and Mufasa as James Earl Jones, the voice actor, excuse me. This film, as of July 22nd, domestically has made $212,820,978. Foreign, it has made $351,842,401. Worldwide, it's made a grand total of $564,663,379, and it still is increasing because it was released last weekend, so it's still revenue and the gross is still increasing. Out of all that money, it made $191,770,759 on its opening weekend, making it the number one movie last weekend, obviously, as number one. Now, the story and plot is that during the opening of this movie, it starts with obviously the song Circle of Life, and we get a young lion cub by King Mufasa and the queen, Sarabi, just have a son. They called him Simba, and he becomes, as we don't know yet, but is going to become the ruler of Pride Walk after Mufasa's death, or his reign is over. So then, as this happens, we start with Simba being a young lion cub, and he starts, wanting to explore everything, go on hunts, go on adventures with his dad, but then the hyenas are in the Pride lands causing trouble, so Mufasa has to go stop them, and Simba has to go back home, and then Scar mentions to Simba about the elephant graveyard and tries to kind of like bait him into death, so that Scar tries to rule the kingdom and become king, because he was supposed to reign king, but obviously since Simba was born by the actual king, Scar was not able to get that reign, so Scar is trying his best to get that reign back. So as Simba and Nala go into the elephant graveyard, they witness hyenas who try to kill the cubs, and during this time the lions and hyenas do not like each other and are at war with each other. So then the hyenas fail to kill Simba until Scar comes in and says makes an offer with them to kill Mufasa and try to kill Simba, or do some way so Scar can get the throne. So what Scar does, he baits Simba into a canyon and practices his roar. Well, as he practices his roar, the hyenas are about ready to start a stampede, and they start the stampede, and what happens is Scar kills Mufasa via the stampede. Scar takes over Pride Rock. The hyenas take over along with the lionesses. Simba runs away and meets a friendly warthog and a meerkat by the names of Pumbaa and Timon. And as this happens, they start forming a phrase called Hakuna Matata, which means no worries. And think of the song. I'm probably singing it right now as I said it. And so Simba lives this life with Timon and Pumbaa, eating grubs, living in paradise, sort of, until Nala hunts down the pack of animals that are living here with Timon and Pumbaa and chases Pumbaa until Simba stops her, and then realizes that it's his best friend. So then they fall in love with each other, and then she tries to convince Simba to come back to Pride Rock, but then Simba ends up not going because because of his past and what happened at the canyon and everything, and said everything was his fault. So then what happens is then Simba sees his father through the sky, through the stars, and changes his mind and heads back to Pride Rock to take his reign as king against his uncle Scar. And so as this happens, they finally make it to Pride Rock, and everything's a deserted wasteland because the hyenas chase everything away. And what happens is Timon and Pumbaa distract the hyenas by a little Beauty and the Beast cameo sort of thing, and they just get chased off instead of the cartoon where they have the juicy pig with Pumbaa with the apple in his mouth and Timon dressed up as a hula girl. So then they have the hyenas chased off, and Simba Nala around the lionesses and attacks Scar. And during this time, the hyenas and Scar attack, and as the fight ensues, Simba manages to catch up with Scar, and then they fight on the tip top of Pride Rock. So then Simba wins, and Scar is devoured and killed by the hyenas. So then, as this happens, Simba rules as king, and that's how the story ends. So I want to do some comparisons between this movie and the animated version. So the animated version is rated G. This one's rated PG because this one seems a little bit darker as like the lighting, the cinematography. This movie is very, very dark. And with obviously real lions, there's going to be fights, there's going to be teeth drawn and fights, and what happens is it's a very dark film a little bit, and I personally would highly, if little kids are going to see it, you're going to want to have an adult supervision with them or parents, because it is very dark, and it is kind of horrifying a little bit. Some parts it is dark, but all in all, it's a family movie by all means. So yeah, the animated version, the ratings are different. What's different in this one is that Rafiki, I'm really upset about, is Rafiki doesn't have his actual staff during the film like he does in the cartoon, because that's like an iconic prop, so to say, in the animated film. I was really upset Rafiki did not have it at the opening. He didn't have it throughout the film. He didn't have it in his tree. He didn't have it he only showed it towards the end, spoiler alert, towards the end when he helps Simba fight off the hyenas. That's the only time you see the stick come. And I was a little disappointed by that. Just minor thing. And with some of the songs, I would say most of them are not, so to say, as good as the original. Circle of Life obviously is the same. Just a Week, Can't Wait to Be King. How do I say? It's kind of is a little softer, a little less intense and fun-filled like the other one was. And Hakuna Matata kind of was slower than, as what we're listening now, than this one. And some of the songs, and Be Prepared was a little disappointing because it wasn't like the Be Prepared song that I thought of, and I love that song out of the Lion King movie, and it was just slow, dragging, and it just didn't feel right. Can You Feel the Love Tonight obviously was still the same, and I mean there was a newer song, I don't know the title, but there was a newer song, and yeah, the songs were kind of just, the same almost, except, for Be Prepared and Just Can't Wait to Be King, because he's not hopping on Simba's not hopping on giraffes, he's not jumping on backs of animals or anything. They're just running through the little waterhole area. As well as character development, most of them were true to the original characters. I mean, obviously you got Mufasa, still the same, James Earl Jones speaking voice as the original. He was the only returning cast member, I believe, in this film. Nala's still the same character. Simba's still the same character. Timon and Pumbaa still the same, except Timon and Pumbaa, the actors kind of made, Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner, kind of made them a little bit more comedic and funnier than in the original. They almost formed kind of like a Abbott and Costello sort of duo between Timon and Pumbaa in this film, because they do some like funny knockoff jokes. They do some jokes during Hakuna Matata. They're like an Abbott and Costello like comedian group, Timon and Pumbaa. It's so hilarious, and it was so funny. Instead of doing the all I can think of is when Pumbaa is got an apple in his mouth and he's like a dish tray for the hyenas, and Timon dances on him in a hula skirt. It was kind of funny that they interpreted Beauty and the Beast, Be Our Guest, like the beginning of that song, into this movie. It's kind of like a remember when this movie, and kind of reminds you of, oh yeah, Beauty and the Beast. And it was kind of funny the way that they did it. Like they couldn't even get to the beginning part, and then they get chased, which that was funny. I would have to admit that's funny. Scar felt more like a, how do I say? He felt more British, like sort of a lion. I don't know if you could say if that makes sense. Like his voice sounded more British like than the other one, which is more deep voice, heavy, and very scary in the old one compared to this one. Mufasa's still the same. Simba, when he got older, kind of a little different than the Matthew Broderick voice. Like this one, Donald Glover does. It's kind of more musical than, so to say, like the other one where it's just movie-like. And I don't know, I'm just not big into musicals, so that's maybe why I have that opinion, but my opinion. Donald Glover did an okay job as Simba, but I felt like every time he was talking, he felt like he had to sing all the time as he was talking. Kind of heard that in his voice. I mean, obviously with Beyonce, obviously she's a singer, so no wonder as Nala she tends to sing a lot. But all in all, like just those minor things, and there were some scenes that were left out of this movie, like when Scar's messing with his food, he doesn't really mess with it on his paws, and doesn't really eat Zazu. There's some added scenes, like when Nala tries to escape Pride Rock, there's like Zazu distracts the hyenas and Scar. I think that's an added scene. Simba meeting up with Nala in the desert when he's trying to reign as king, that's a new scene. There's some scenes that are revamped a little bit, revised, but all in all, it didn't destroy the authenticity of of the original movie. Like I felt like I was watching the original cartoon, and I felt like I was just watching the original cartoon while I was watching this, and I felt like a little kid again, just watching it. So it really is a great movie. I wouldn't be surprised if it'll make a lot of money. I wouldn't be surprised if it wins possibly awards. I don't know, cross fingers. But it is a very, very good very good live action film compared to like The Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, Dumbo, and and Tarzan. And I haven't seen Aladdin. I haven't seen Aladdin yet, so I can't really voice my opinion on that movie. I plan on hoping to see it when it comes out on DVD. And also, I just can't. I wonder how Disney's really improving on these movies, and I'm really surprised on what they're going to do in the future with others. Like next spring, they're going to release a live-action Mulan. They had a trailer for that, which is kind of interesting. And I wouldn't be surprised what other movies they're going to come out with soon that are live action, like The Lion King. So that is my review on The Lion King. Please comment, like my video, tell me what you think about the movie, whether you've seen it the past couple days or going to see it, or if you've seen the original animated film. That just please leave a comment and tell me what you think about both of them. Tell me about the comparisons, as I did. And also just, subscribe to my channel, like my video, comment, tell me what you think. And again, this is Max Schroeder Productions. Thank you for watching.